Welcome to Group D of the World Cup of Great Darts Performances, and this time it's all about the Premier League. I'm joined by Paul Nicholson, and we're going to kick things off with Michael van Gerwen's 123.4 average against Michael Smith in 2016, the highest ever seen on TV.
Yeah, you look at the performance now, some years later, and you think it has to take something special to make Michael Smith pull some of the faces he pulled on that stage in Aberdeen that night. And I don't think the world record was ever in doubt. It was just a question of how much he was going to break it by. Now, I know it's not the longest format, but when the previous world record was set, it was over the course of about 8 legs. So it's pretty much similar to what you saw in this performance. But I think what everybody remembers about this, apart from the fact that it was such a great performance from Michael, is the fact that it should have been a lot better. It should have been probably around about 10 better than it was.
Yeah. He did 11, 12, 11, 12, 10, 10 dart legs, and then he missed 3 darts at a double for a 7-0 win, which would have made it 136.
Yeah, I mean, I said 10, more like 13. I mean, if he hits that, does anybody ever break that record? Probably not. And I know that there's been a lot of speculation over the years about athletics world records and other things that have been done by great sports people. But the fact of the matter is, I don't think I've ever seen anybody play that well on a dartboard in that kind of format. And if the 136 had been registered, I think that would have stood for decades.
Yeah, we've seen averages on the floor events. You know, we get to see it regularly above 110, and Peter Wright did the world record in that format of 123.5. But on TV, we've only seen Snakebite get close really with the 119 in the Premier League in 2017. Obviously, Kim Hybrex got really close in the World Cup, but a really short format match. And then fourth on the list is that Phil Taylor one that he broke, that MVG broke in the 2010 UK Open. So it is hard to get that close on TV.
Massively hard. You've got to put yourself in position first, which is what Michael did with incredible darts, and then he improved it with those incredible legs in the middle to sustain that and have those back-to-back 10s that you sometimes need to get yourself to that level. There's only certain elite players throughout the course of history that can do that, and I have to say that if anyone's ever going to break 130 again, they're going to need probably back-to-back 10s or possibly a 9 in there.
Phil Taylor may have lost that average record, but he does hold the highest losing average of 115.8 in a 7-4 defeat to Raymond van Barneveld in 2015. So his defiance with a 104 average has to go in here.
It has to. I mean, we've talked on many occasions about how James Wade can somehow defy these huge averages with a great performance, but this goes to a different stratosphere in my opinion. I remember where I was when this game was being played. I was in Spain. I was having a week off the tour. I think I was on my way to the Gibraltar Darts Trophy, if I remember rightly. And I remember watching this on the screen thinking, what is happening here? How is he losing with this statistic? It never happened before. Someone at that level losing with something like 115 average?
Crazy.
No, this doesn't happen. But then we were proved that it does happen.
Yeah, I think Barney even said on the stage when being interviewed, how is this possible? And so he probably still doesn't even know. I think Wayne Mardle on recent commentary got asked, how do you lose with that average? And he said, I don't know. And you can watch it the critical moment was when he got the 144 checkout when he was losing 2-0. Taylor didn't go for the ball. He just wanted to set himself up. Barney took out a 144, made it 2-1, and then that's how the game changed. But Taylor still he was still playing brilliantly after that. He did back-to-back 180s on 3 occasions. He ended up with 9 maximums. It was the best clutch doubling display we've seen.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, so many things you just mentioned that you could talk about.
Yeah.
How do you win darts matches? You win them by hitting doubles, right? The amount of times that I have lost my stuff on the microphone because people reject shots at bullseyes and give people shots at 144s and things like that. It drives me up the wall because the aim of the game is to win the match. And we've had it proven here that you don't win matches with averages. You win matches with doubles. So don't reject bullseyes. Yes, you can throw as many 180s as you want, but it's about getting opportunities at doubles and taking them. This is the poster child for that example.
Third on the list is Phil Taylor's victory over James Wade in 2010 when he threw 2 9-darters.
I mean, it's impossible to leave this out, isn't it? So much narrative when it comes to this. The power cut the night before, that's obviously got some sort of cohesion with Phil's nickname. So some things just align themselves, don't they? In 2010, this was meant to happen. It was at the stage of the game where it was really on the rise. Everybody loved Premier League darts. It was becoming mainstream. But at the time, this performance just not come out of the blue, but maybe it was a watershed moment for the game of darts. And the fact that it was commentated on by the best commentary squad that the game's ever seen, I think that was very, very applicable, because we were to lose them in the next few years. And I think the one thing that is referenced the most about this performance is how much the 2 9-darters were needed to win that match, because if he didn't hit them, he probably would have lost it.
Yeah, he won 10-8 and he averaged 111 and Wade was playing really well. It's just, and that was a year he went unbeaten in as well. So he was at the real high point of his career at that point, but Wade still pushed him and he needed that. Yeah,
I mean, we talk about James a lot, of course, because he's been within the game for the last 2 decades at the high level. But to push someone when they're playing that well, probably the best that they could possibly play, the fact that he could have had a 3rd 9-darter as well in that match as well can't be forgotten. But the ability of James to cling on and stick in that final as much as he did. I mean, I remember being in my flat in North Shields at the time, on my knees, watching this match thinking, how good is this game? And you realise just what James Wade is capable of when it comes to, clinging on to these amazing performances. It was a historical moment.
Last is Gary Anderson winning the 2015 title with a fantastic 11-8 victory over Michael van Gerwen. Why could this finish top?
Any game that Michael van Gerwen and Gary Anderson played in 2015 could probably make any list, because at the time their rivalry was at its height. You're talking about World Championship semi-finals, you're talking about probably the greatest European Tour match ever played at the German Darts Championship. But this one, I think you look at it from 2 perspectives. One, the qualities of Gary Anderson to make it through the semi-final in tight fashion against Chisnell, to then get to this game where he was able to raise his game against someone who was at the 106 average level all night long.
Yeah.
So to be able to beat Van Gerwen when he is at that level, I think in a final, when the rivalry is at its height, I think there's no way you can exclude this performance from Gary Anderson. It was quite spectacular. And when you look at the scoreline, there was a 4-leg gap. So it wasn't that close. And Michael's ability in the years after that to try and steal titles away from people by winning the last 2 or 3 legs was well proven, well written about as well. But Anderson, way too good on this occasion.
So all Sporting Life followers need to do now is vote for your favourite on the Twitter poll below, and the winner goes through to the next round. We'll be back with 4 more great performances next week.